Good morning, everyone. My name is Samantha, and I would like to go over a few things with you. If you would permit me, I would like to read you something out of a National Geographic that was published April 2019, titled Cities. All right. I remember this was one of the last National Geographics that I actually bought, because right after this, National Geographic was bought up by Disney, or the Chinese, however you want to do it. But anyway, starting on page 18, I want to read this to you guys. Americans may view such measures with horror, as George Orwell's novel 1984 comes to mind. But for Singapore's citizens, it's the bargains that they have made with their government, less individual freedom in return for first world living standards, health, and security. Next, consider Germany's cities, also densely populated. Local governments have rules about the shapes and colors of tiles that Germans are allowed to use on the roofs, on their houses' roofs, and about the sizes and ages of trees that they can or cannot cut down. To obtain a fishing license, Germans must attend many hours of fishing classes, then pass a 60-question exam. Most Americans would bristle at such restrictions. But benefits to German communities include beautiful regional agriculture, green trees, government support for the arts, and healthy fish populations. Skipping a few paragraphs. Still, we American city dwellers shouldn't romanticize traditional village living arrangements. My New Guinea friends tell me that those arrangements are also socially suffocating and limit individual abilities to realize their potential. In a New Guinea village, everybody knows, constantly watches, and insistently discusses what everybody else is doing. I brought this up for a couple of points. One, let's talk about smart cities. It's been around for a while, you guys. This National Geographic goes on to show you plans that they have been putting in places for many, many years in places like Singapore. Okay, and they were also trying to open up a discourse about how different America would look if we allowed these smart cities to move in. But the one thing about what I just read to you that really hit was how Maui and New Guinea would be alike. There isn't anything anybody that lives on Maui doesn't know about their neighbor. If you give someone $15 in public, everyone sees it. So, I had said many times while I was in Maui that people would ask me not to show them receiving gifts from me in cash, and I wanted to point out that there was actually a reason for that. So what this article ends with is it all comes down to compromises. As the world becomes increasingly urban, will all of us be forced to adopt more of Singapore's solutions? If a government meter that records every flushing of your toilet is the part of the price you pay for living in safety, health, affluence, and beautiful surroundings, what would you choose? So for me, it's much deeper than that. I enjoy the style of life that I live. I enjoy being in the country and not having a government official checking to see how often I turn my water on to water my plants. I enjoy not having a neighbor so close to me that I can't walk around comfortable in my yard without every set of eyes on me watching me. Now, I'm not sure about some of you, and that's why I wanted to open up this discussion. So as I go through this magazine, some of the things that I noticed were these cities of the future. And I want to point out something to you guys. About 3 days ago, after I came back from Maui, the Holy Spirit was like, do you remember that magazine you read? And I'm like, which one? And he kept popping up National Geographic in my brain. And I'm like, I wonder which one he's talking about, because I probably read a couple of thousand of them from cover to cover, like the entire magazine. I didn't know what year, I didn't know what title, but today I was working in the garden, harvesting up plants, and literally I had to stop what I was doing and come find this magazine. And if you know anything about running a farm, you cannot just stop midway through an activity because you may leave an animal without water, without food. You might forget where you were at on applying, soil amendments. So it's not a good idea to stop until you're finished with that current chore. So very unlike myself, I stopped harvesting and I came inside and I looked on my bookshelf and lo and behold, there is that National Geographic. So I was a little shocked. I was like, wow, so what are you trying to show me here, God? And let me read some of this to you guys. Okay, so here we go. One of the articles in this magazine says, a city rises. Can Uganda turn Africa's largest refugee settlement into an urban hub? Let's continue. What National Geographic did was start to look at how they're starting to turn these areas into smart cities. Here's another article. In the city's shadow, wherever there are people, there will be rats thriving on trash. Here's another one. Rethinking cities. To make the most of urban life, we'll have to curb our devotion to cars. To ease Beijing's congestion, China is planning a green, low-rise city that could be a model for things to come. So I really feel like the Lord was showing me that it's been around for a lot longer than we think. So let's define what a smart city technically is, you guys. Smart cities use information and communication technology, also known as ICT, to improve operational efficiency, share information with the public, and provide a better quality of government service and citizen welfare. The characteristics of smart cities basically follow this line. The infrastructure around technology, and infrastructure meaning water, sewage, electricity. Environmental initiatives, public transportation, live, work within the city, all right? So one of the things the National Geographic was doing in this magazine during 2019 was telling us how cities were originally built. Why were they built? A lot of them were built to resist attack from foreigners. Some were built to facilitate trade amongst people. Others were built to help people get from place to place. All right? So basically what they have done is put together a whole magazine encouraging the rise of cities. So they have been infiltrating magazines, movies, science fiction books, and colleges for the past 20 plus years. It is time that we wake up and find out what they're intending to do. Now, a viewer put on one of my videos a comment, and she said, well, you're a farmer, so shouldn't you believe in sustainability? And here's the answer to that question. I am probably the most sustainable small farmer you're gonna meet. I have zero food waste, zero manure waste. I use way less water than the average person to grow a 1/4 acre of intensely grown vegetables and fruits. I use no pesticides, no fungicides, no commercial fertilizers. I don't even use ant poison. I believe in sustainability from beginning to end. I use no machinery on my farm that needs a motor, except occasionally when my husband uses the backpack blower to blow leaves, or he uses a chainsaw. Everything else I do by hand. Oh, and when I cut the grass, I use a small machine for that. But I have no tractors, no tillers, no any of that, all right? I use cover crops, I use livestock rotation, and I am firmly into soil health. It means everything. So I am more organic and regenerative and sustainable than 90% of farmers on the planet, and I believe that. I also believe that I do this because I love what I do, and I do not feel that anybody should force anyone else to follow my lifestyle because they think it's the best lifestyle for everyone. That is what true freedom is. If you want to till. If you want to use 1313, use 1313. I don't. It doesn't make me right and you wrong. It doesn't make you right and me wrong. That is what's wrong with the world. We all think that we should force upon everyone else our worldview. So all I'm going to tell you guys is, if you've never seen this National Geographic titled Cities, I highly suggest you look for a copy of it. It will open your eyes. Next thing, I hope all of you have been looking into the sustainable city stuff I sent you on, and I hope that you are starting to realize what they are planning for a town near you. If you have not started to secure your food, for God's sake, please stop watching videos and get your hands in the soil. It is not a joke. We are running out of time. Something else, the reason I know we're running out of time, do y'all want to know what my preacher preached on last night? The red heifer. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me give you a little bit of history. There's something called a red heifer that has to be sacrificed for certain things to happen in biblical prophecy. In 1990, a gentleman out of Houston began trying to breed a flawless red heifer. In 2021, 5 of them were born to him. They are all now in Israel. 3 of them are still in the running to be the heifer that they sacrifice. You guys, it's one of the last things that has to happen before Jesus comes back and sounds the trumpet. All I'm saying, biblical prophecy is coming true all around us. God bless you. Get prepared. This is not a joke. This is not a drill. The war has begun, and we're still all sitting at home drinking Starbucks. I was too, until I went to Maui. Love you guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please consider joining our membership and supporting our channel. A lot of what I do here lately has not been supported by YouTube, so I make no money for it. So God bless you guys. Got a lot to get done. I got caught in a freak rainstorm and looks like it might have stopped, so it's time for me to get back up there and get harvesting.